for Cigar Talk, the fastest growing cigar show in the nation. Whether you're a new cigar enthusiast or a cigar aficionado, we have something for everyone. Bringing you the best interviews, cigar reviews, and weekly giveaways. So grab yourself a cigar.
It's time to light 'em up.
Welcome back, Cigar Talk. I'm your host, Rob Jones. We got a great show lined up for you today. We have some big news. We have a great interview. And as always, we've got co-host Falconer in the house. How you doing this week, Falconer?
Hey, man, I'm doing good.
So what have you been up to, man? I haven't seen you much this week.
Hey, bruh, back to work.
Back to work, yeah.
Back to work.
Not bumming around for every day for 3 weeks, huh?
Anyway.
Hey, man, when you can get it, I always say take it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So let's jump right in with what are we smoking right now?
Well, today I am smoking a Hiram and Solomon Grand Architect.
Oh, that's a nice stick.
Oh,
nice stick.
Man.
Yeah, I'm actually smoking a McAuliffe Montefina.
Oh.
You know, it's been a while since I've had one of those.
Ooh.
And the thing about it is, I actually went by the Leaf earlier today, and, you know, I've been real busy with work, so I haven't had a lot of opportunity to go by there, but I stocked up on some McAuliffe cigars, and I'll tell you what I did was the first cigar I picked out was a Sumatra.
Yes, sir.
Hey, well, you've been
my favorite.
You've been smoking so many of those. I was like, you know what? I got to get right back into the groove of those.
Yes, sir.
And I got to say, it knocked it out of the park.
Again.
And here's the thing. Not only did I pick up the Sumatra cigar, I picked up a pound of Sumatra coffee.
To go with it.
Oh. Well, let me tell you.
Compliments.
You know, my wife was telling me, because, you know, I ran out of the Leaf coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And so this morning when I got up, I had
Maxwell House.
No. So I had about maybe enough Sumatra from the Leaf for about 2 cups of coffee.
Okay. Did you share?
No. Listen. Don't jump ahead. So what I did was I mixed it with some Folgers, like 1896 or whatever that stuff is. Have you ever seen it?
I'm done.
Okay, but let me tell you.
Okay.
So I mix it so I'll have enough. That way I get a little bit of good Sumatra in there. So anyway, I make this pot of coffee. It sucks. Oh.
I wonder why.
Dude.
You sitting there playing a Nutty Professor.
Yeah, my wife was like, don't mix the coffee. Please, don't mix the coffee.
I'm with her on that.
So anyway, she tells me, and it was horrible, I dumped out the whole pot. But I have to go to Brownwood this morning, so I was like, I got to have some good coffee. So she tells me, run by Fox. Have you been to Fox?
What is Fox?
Fox Coffee.
No.
It's over there by Schlotsky's, where the Hastings used to be.
Oh, okay.
It's like a little drive-through box.
Yeah.
So anyway, I go over there, and they've got their own drip coffee. So I'm, pretty stoked to finally find a place I can get a good cup of coffee.
On the run.
So, of course, I got a large. It sucked. It sucked. My wife calls me later on in the day, and she's like, "Hey, how'd you like that coffee?" And I was like, "It sucked." She was like, "Well, you're just spoiled with the Leaf." And I was like, "Yeah, because that's where I started. So
definitely.
I never got used to drinking crap, and now I cannot drink crap, and I won't drink crap.
When you're used to rich, you can't go back to saltines, baby.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's enough of my rant about coffee. But once you have good coffee,
it's a difference. It's a difference. You can't go Maxwell House afterwards, baby.
Right.
You're stuck.
And the thing about it is, we had the bag of Folgers wasn't just the regular Folgers. I think it was like 1906 or 1886 or some special blend. Sucks. So,
the only other coffee that I've drank that I truly enjoyed was Jay gave us that Hawaiian coffee.
Oh yeah. That was also coffee that I qualify as from the Leaf.
Yeah. And I sat back, and when I ran out, I was like, you know what, man? I am very upset, man.
Dude, and I looked into buying some of that. It's expensive. It's real expensive.
Well, I wait till you gift us again.
Right. So, and I was looking online at some different places that carried some other coffees. And like there was some, I don't remember where it was, but it was somewhere like Peru or something. I don't know. It was up in the mountains and it was like volcanic soil. Anyway, a pound of coffee was $59.
My heart stopped.
Yeah, that's out of my ballpark.
For real, a pound?
A pound. You know, a pound only lasts me about a week.
Goodness gracious!
So I told my wife one of the things I'm going to try to do this week, and I'm sure everybody's like, "Can you get on with the show already?
Get off the coffee."
All right, we're done with the coffee. I'll tell that story another time. But anyway, tonight I'm smoking the Montefina. It's a great stick, and you know, I got hooked on the Medallia so much that I pretty much scrapped the rest of the line almost, except for the Connecticut, until you started bringing in those Sumatras every week. And I was like, oh, I'm going to try one of those. And I tried one, and I'd had one before, but I was like, oh, wow, that's nice. Now
I remember.
Yes. So
that's why I'm hitting this Grand Architect, man, because, you know, I was entered apprentice, masturbation for a while, smoking those sticks. I went back to this Grand Architect, and this pepper is just like lighting me up, man. I'm loving
Great
it,
stick.
bro. Oh,
great stick.
Man.
Really is. So anyway,
Yes,
let's talk about what we're going to do with the Patreons. First of all,
Yes,
we
sir.
want to say thank you to the Patreons.
Most definitely.
You guys have really made a difference in the quality of the show.
Truly appreciate your support.
Very thankful. And we got the soundboard.
Yes.
And it is made just night and day.
He's over there playing Dr. Dre mixing.
Hey,
everything.
man, when you got skills.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Pretty soon I'm going to be doing some beatbox. No one is going to want to hear that.
Never. Country beatbox.
Hey, dude, let me tell you.
No.
I was driving back from Brownwood today, and I was rocking out on some old honky-tonk country. In fact, I sent a message to someone, and they were like, dude, you are so country. And I was like, no, really, I'm not. I just like good music.
Okay.
But I was getting down on some David Allan Coe. Do you even know who that is?
No, sir.
That's like some Schlitz. I mean, if you're listening to David Allan Coe, you were drinking Schlitz, malt liquor.
I was just going to say the malt liquor.
Yeah. So anyway, I was jamming out, and I was like, it's been a while.
I hear you.
It took me back to the 70s.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's kind of like Led Zeppelin does for you, or you know, any of that old classic music.
No, the 70s was mainly funk for me. So it was Ohio Players and.
Well, you didn't do Led Zeppelin back then?
No, I didn't do Led Zeppelin until the 80s, man. When I got to high school, it was like you could be one or two things, or three. It was either rap, R&B, or rock, and I didn't want to be like everybody else, so I ran the rock, and I loved it. Oh, I loved it. I hated what I missed.
You didn't do Let Me Tell You a Story.
Somewhat,
Prince?
yeah. Oh man, Prince was
Fresh Prince.
Yeah, now Prince
Smith.
was my boy. Fresh Prince, it was okay. Certain songs,
yeah.
But, man, you put some Prince on, bro.
But you know, Fresh Prince was really like in the beginning.
He was happy rap.
Yeah, he really was. He was.
And the thing about it was that his songs are still, you know, registering with young kids today, because it was a message back then. But anyway, I ran the rock in the 80s.
Hey,
high school.
I hear you.
High school.
So anyway, let's get back to the Patreon.
Yes, sir.
I want to say thank you guys so much for all the help that you've provided. And, you know, we use what we get for the Patreons to buy new and updated equipment, software, you know, the list goes on and on of what we could do. But we appreciate what we've done so far, and we just want to say thank you. And to say thank you, we're going to start recording the video of the podcast.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to upload it just to the Patreon site, so you can actually watch us. And I don't know if you're going to want to see that, but anyway, it's just another way for us to give back to the community. And don't worry,
you content that no one else has because you support us, and that's what it's about.
Exactly. So, and as we do that, hopefully, you know, the audio was a huge learning curve.
Oh yeah.
So the video is going to be a learning curve as well.
Yeah,
you know,
because you can't hide from the camera, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be like Spielberg right out the gate. I'm going to get there. Don't worry about that. I'll get there, you know.
It's putting another camera in your hand, so I understand.
Right. And you know, I love photography.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, that's what we want to say to the Patreons. We're going to start doing a video, hopefully very soon for you guys, uploaded on the site. You'll be able to check that out, watch the show, or listen to the show as you always do, or both, however you want to do it. Anyway, hey, let's get to McAuliffe right quick.
100.
You know, I told you the Modafinas for me tonight.
Yes, sir.
And just want to say thank you for all the support that McAuliffe gives to us.
Man.
And I talked to Dan the other night. He was in California.
In San Jose.
Yeah, like a 28-hour trip.
Yeah.
Dude.
See him walking through the airport with that look on his face like, oh.
Hey, you gotta give him some slack, though. He was chewing bubble gum.
Yes, he was.
While he was talking on the video. So you know what? Note to myself, don't chew gum while we're doing the show.
Tell the truth.
But I'm smoking, so that will never happen.
Yeah.
That's one thing I never do is, and I don't really chew gum anyway, but I don't chew gum and smoke.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a smart thing to do because you take the taste of the gum away.
Right.
So
or can you imagine what a piece of gum would taste like after smoking a cigar? Anyway, so we just want to say thank you to McAuliffe. And as we said last week, you know, they're a great line of cigars for the beginner, the intermediate, and the cigar aficionado.
4 to 42.
4 to 42, and they have a flavor complex that will suit any palate.
Yes, sir.
And so I just want to say, if you're not getting the message, I want you to listen real close.
Yes.
If they don't carry them in your home shop, go ask for them.
That's all you have to do.
The owners want to know what you want to smoke.
Yes.
I mean, I've been asked a million times, hey, what do you think about this? Hey, what do you think about this? But when you say, hey, we should bring these cigars in, you know, I was talking to Bill whenever I stumbled onto Roma Craft, and I was like, dude, you got to get these. And he's like, we already tried to get these and we couldn't get them. And I kept after him. And one day he picked up the phone while I was there
and called.
He called and boom, they shipped them out. And so that just shows you what a consumer can do for a shop.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
So don't think that your shop owner doesn't want to hear what you want to bring in.
He's about his business. And if he is, he's going to listen to his constituents. He's going to listen to the customers,
and
the
if
consumers.
He's not, he won't be in business.
He won't be in
long.
business too much longer. Yeah, that's the truth.
So anyway, let's get to our top 3 cigars of the week. I'm going to go first, and I'm going to name all 3 of mine.
Okay.
And then you name all 3
We can
of yours.
do that.
Or do you want to go first?
No, go ahead.
Because mine's going to blow yours away.
Here we go with that again. Here we go with that again.
So first, I'm going with the McAuliffe Modafina.
Okay.
It is a great.
Yes, it is.
To me, it's a medium plus. It's earthy. It almost has some overtones of like I want to say citrus, but it's not really citrus. It's more just like a aromatic, something like a fruit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's got a little sweetness to it, but then it comes on with some cocoa and some leather. I think it's a great stick, and if you're pairing it with coffee, you can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong.
Which is what I'm drinking tonight. I brought tea for you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
This was the last of the coffee because I didn't want to be drinking coffee all night because then I'd be up all night. And I know how you are.
Yeah, one drink and I'm done. I'll be going to work. Straight from here going to work, never went to sleep. But anyway.
So, and the 3 that I'm listing are all cigars I've smoked this week.
Okay, mine too.
So, number 2 is the LFD. Are you ready for this? You're shocked, aren't you?
You saw the look on my face.
I know, right? So, the LFD Chapter 2.
Oh.
You know what? Those are still quality.
Okay.
I haven't seen the downturn in quality for some reason just on the Chapter 2s. Now I will say this. I've really beat up on LFD.
You did.
And that was the Cabinet 5s and Cabinet 6s because that's primarily what I smoke of theirs.
Tell the truth.
And when I smoke LFD, my 3 go-tos is the Cabinet 6, the Cabinet 5, and the Chapter 2. All the other cigars of theirs, I really don't smoke. Every once in a while, I'll smoke the 1994, which is one of their anniversary sticks.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, it's a great stick. It
No
really
digger?
surprised. No, I don't smoke the digger. I don't want to smoke the same cigar for 2 hours. You know what I mean? That's just not my thing. So, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm pretty sure I could smoke the digger in an hour.
Knowing you, yeah. Knowing you, yeah.
So anyway, I do like that 1994, the anniversary. And I'll tell you what, that's the first cigar I ever smoked where I was hit with a profile of caramel, like a salted caramel. And it wasn't sweet. It was just like, wait, what is that? And I was like, holy crap, that's salted caramel. And I love salted caramel.
I never remember tasting that in there.
Have you had one?
Yeah.
Well, then you need to go back and try it.
Yeah, I am.
See what you think. Because I tell you what, and I wasn't even looking for it. You know what I mean? It was just one of those, it was like, bam. I was like, oh, wow, I like that. And it's real subtle.
Okay.
But try that, see if you find the same thing, and let me know.
I am.
And then, are you ready for the drum roll?
Here we go.
Okay. I had a Maduro 1926. Booyah.
Yeah, you put the bar rather high.
I did. And you know what? I don't get to do that every week.
Yeah.
It's a rarity that I have a 1926.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, really.
What caused that?
You know what? I just felt like it. Sometimes you just say, you know what?
Perfect
I'm gonna
mood.
enjoy myself.
Perfect mood.
And, you know, the thing about it, my list this week, really, all three of those are top-notch sticks. And I don't smoke them all the time.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
Gotcha.
that was one of the things that I didn't want to do my top three and it be the same, because, you know, I get in a rut sometimes.
Yeah.
And I like to expand. So anyway, this week was the Modafina from McAuliffe, the Chapter 2 from LFD, and of course the 1926 Maduro from Padron.
Yeah, you got me this week. That last one went over the top with me. So
I told you.
let me go with my three.
All right, lay it on me.
And the first one was Hiram Solomon Shriner. And I wanted to smoke that because I've gone through most of the line. There's only one other that I haven't smoked. And when I got it, I was like, yeah, it's worth it.
So see, it's just kind of the same situation where you're just like, you know, you don't always have to have a special occasion to smoke a special cigar.
Yes. And then Tuesday, I was running around, and I had, you know, after Veterans Day, I had my mindset was kind of messed up, and I said I need something to pick me up, so I grabbed a McAuliffe Leyenda.
Oh, great stick. Great stick.
Bruh. Instant mood changer. As they say, attitude adjustment. I got it real quick.
Especially when you can sit back and just let everything else go and enjoy.
Just enjoy the stick. And that's the way it was, because Tuesday was first day
Where'd
back
you
at
smoke
work.
it at?
At the Leaf.
And were you like
In
sitting
the back,
by yourself?
In the back by myself.
Sometimes sitting back there by yourself is just like, what would you call that? Solitude.
Solitude. My fortress of solitude.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was middle of the day. I was like, this is perfect. I went back to work with a whole different attitude, man. It was just like.
Because, you know, a lot of times that's what I do here in the studio.
I can believe it.
Because, you know.
That alone time.
Yeah. That alone time and a good stick. It's just. It's solitude, man.
Superman for a second.
And I mean, you know, sometimes I like to go hang out. And you know what I really want to do is, and I know you don't play, but I really want to get a regular poker game going so that we can just hang out and smoke cigars.
I sit there and watch.
Okay, well, you know what? You come watch a couple of games, and I guarantee
I'm still not gonna play. I'm still not gonna play.
You know what? You know what you remind me of?
What?
That coffee from Fox. Because you suck.
Let me get to my third.
All right, tell me your third.
And I stepped out on this one. It was a B&G Meyer Standard Issue Robusto Habano.
Dude, that's a great stick. I had that last week. I gave you that stick.
Yes, you did.
How'd you like that?
I thanked you for it.
It was good.
I didn't tell you, but I thanked you for it.
Hey, it was good. You know, it impressed me. Hey, you see what I put up on the sign?
I see. It's on the sign.
Yeah.
BG Meyer.
BG Myers.
Yeah, but my three this week were perfect sticks for me because of my moods and the mood swings and everything. But each one of them brought me out.
And let me just tell you guys something at home, if you don't know. Bryant is like super moody.
Bruh, no, I'm not.
Come on, go ahead.
No, I'm not.
We're here for you, Brian.
No, I'm not.
Come on,
We're here
not
for
super
you. Moody. What happened was,
I mean, I feel like we've been dating. That's how moody he is.
After 3 weeks of vacation, you step back into work, you're like, oh man, what did I do?
You know what? I completely understand, because when I'm off just for a week, I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you.
Yes.
The day before I go back to work,
stress.
People are like, who died?
Stress.
I get depressed.
And then it was Veterans Day and everybody, thank you for your service. Get away from me.
Right. You're like, I serve for me, not for you. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, well, you know, I don't know Veteran Day's passed already this week, but I do want to say even to you, thank you for your service. And all the men and women of the country who have served, we want to say thank you for your service as well. And that's one of the reasons that we love supporting Cigars for Warriors.
Yes, sir.
And for that very reason. And, you know, it doesn't have to be one time a year or 2 times a year, because, everybody gets on that kick of saying thank you for your service for those 2 days of the year, Veterans Day and Memorial Day.
Yeah.
And, now I'm not wanting to offend anyone, but I heard a soldier I don't remember if he told me or somebody else that said thank you for your service, and he was like, Memorial Day is not for you to tell me thank you.
It isn't.
To remember those who have fallen.
That's right, giving the ultimate sacrifice.
Right.
And that's what it is. And most veterans and active duty want people to understand the difference between those 2 days.
Right.
Memorial Day is for those that have given the ultimate sacrifice, those that have given their life for this country. They signed that blank check and they came through. That's what it's for. Veterans Day is for those that served, and we made it home. But there's a difference between those days, and people need to understand. Don't get upset. Now, what I want to say is, don't get upset with a service member or a veteran that says that to you.
Yeah, because they don't mean it disrespectful.
We don't.
They just want you to be mindful of what it really means.
What it really means.
And and I'll tell you, before that guy said that, I'd never thought about that. Okay. So that totally made sense to me, and it kind of opened my eyes. You know what I mean?
And coming from, my father was in the military. He was in Vietnam, and then we living in a military town. It's an understanding. It's a different understanding. It's a different mindset, and just respect it. That's all I ask. Just respect it.
Hey, well, going back to what I was saying though, is it's not that I don't want to say thank you for your service when it comes to the holiday. But if you support Cigars for Warriors,
please
forget about every Veteran Day.
Every day.
Every day. You know what I mean? Those guys are making the sacrifice every day.
I got members of my fraternity that are stationed at Fort Hood, and they're cycling in and out every day, man.
Right.
Their unit is gone. They go over there for a year, then they come back. And then you're so happy to see them come back that you're like, man, thank you. And I was like, no. The point is, it's an everyday aspect. It's not just a job in the military.
Right.
It's not. It's a career. You signed your name to Uncle Sam in the United States of America saying, okay, I'm going to do whatever I need to do to keep you free.
Right.
And that's what it's about. Let me get off my soapbox.
And that's one of the reasons that we support Cigars for Warriors much, because it's something that they do every day.
Yes, sir.
All year long. And it's
24/7.
Just hey, thanks for the one day a year. So if you guys want to support Cigars for Warriors, you can find the website right below this episode on our website. Go over there, and there's tons of ways that you can support them. So follow the link, go check it out, see what you can do if you want to support our servicemen and women in that way.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, we got big news that just came out this week.
Come on with it.
And so a subcommittee of the House, which was ridiculous to me because it was from the Energy Department. So why in the hell is the Energy Subcommittee group bringing forth a bill that prevents online cigar sales, flavored cigar sales, vaping, and raising the national tobacco age to 21? Yeah. And you know what? I get here in Texas, it's already 21, which I completely think is BS. I am of the mindset, if you are old enough to vote,
come on,
you can do whatever you want to do as long as it's within the guidelines of the law.
Tell the truth.
And here's the thing. You want to raise tobacco to 21 like alcohol. And I get, totally different. I get why alcohol's 21, because you drink, you get drunk, especially at that age.
Yep.
But if you smoke a cigar,
you're not going to get drunk.
It doesn't affect your mental capacity anyway. So if you're old enough to vote, old enough to serve, then you should be able to buy a cigar.
And see, that's the thing that gets me. And I appreciate that Texas understood that there are people that serve at 18, they can go give their life, and they allow that amendment. In the amendment, they have that exclusion where
I don't like it.
Where
I don't
18,
like it. I do not like it.
But if they can smoke at 18, why can't a regular 18-year-old smoke? It's no difference.
It's like, okay, well, if you do this for us, we're going to let you smoke.
Then it's not a right anymore. It's a privilege.
Right.
It's a privilege, and the privilege can be taken away.
Exactly.
And that's what they did to those from 18 to 21.
And I mean, I don't remember the exact date it went into effect in Texas. I want to say it was in
August, something like that.
August, like 19th or something, maybe the 24th. But if you were 18 the day before, you're grandfathered in.
Yep.
So those people apparently are smarter than the people born 2 days later.
Or the next day.
Right.
I was born at 12 midnight. I was born at 11:59, so I can smoke.
Hey, you're stupid. You're all right. You know what I mean? So
Yes,
it goes against everything I believe in.
Tell
and
the truth.
the bottom line is they're taking away our rights.
As long as we let them. So
Exactly.
that's when you need to roll into what?
The Cigar Rights
Come
of
on.
America.
Come on.
If
Come
you're
on.
not, I mean, dude, they are trying to take our rights away. And people always say to me, man, you're really passionate about that. And I'm like, yeah, because this is what's happening. And then today, or actually it came out yesterday,
Yep.
I'm like, this is what I'm talking about,
See?
people.
All
This
you
is
do is
what I'm
open
talking
your
about.
eyes. Yeah.
And, you know, the committee that put this, now this is a subcommittee.
Uh-huh.
So they're going to vote on it next week. And then it goes to the House, where the House will have to vote on it. Well, there was 2 Democrats that said, okay, yeah, let's put this bill together and pass it. And then there was another Democrat from Florida. I believe her name was Kathy. The last name slips my mind. But she said, okay, wait a minute. Let's pass this, but let's add in, or let's take away premium hand-rolled cigars.
Okay.
And that makes sense because she's from Florida, and that's like the capital of cigars of the United States,
yes.
which I'm all for that. But they told her, no, we're not going to pass that amendment. But if you withdraw the amendment and we pass it the way it is, then me and you will get together and talk about your objection. And also the co-writer of the bill agreed to that. So there's some hope there that they will take the premium cigars out. Now, we all know what hope equals in the political landscape. But here's my point on that is Cigar Rights of America is there to help push for us.
They're our voice.
Right. And
They're
I
our
was
voice.
talking to a good friend last night, and I had posted this on my Instagram saying, hey, this is what happened. And I put a link on that to go to Cigar Rights of America. And he
Smart
was
man.
like, well, and he was saying, and underneath that little post, I said, what's next?
Yeah.
And he responded to me, well, let's see how they waste our money. And I said, are you talking about the government? And he said, no, I'm talking about CRA. And I was like,
They
whoa,
don't.
hold up.
No.
And I was
No,
like,
no.
I said, so what are you referring to? Enlighten me. And he said that he heard that they were, misappropriating funds that were sent in. And so then I posted an article to him and said, here's the only article I know of that's misappropriating funds. And it really doesn't say that, but it says that they only put $80,000 towards lobbying on our behalf, and it wasn't CRA. It was the PCA. And then after I showed that to him, he said, well, maybe that's the article I was talking about. And I was like, yeah, dude, because I talk to Glynn Loope on a pretty regular basis.
You do.
And he keeps me up to date. He posts a ton of good articles. If you don't follow him on Facebook, you should definitely look him up. His name is Glynn Loope, and he is the executive director of Cigar Rights of America. And lucky for you guys, that's who our interview's with today. So we are so thankful that he's joining us on the show. And I talked to him, and he's going to start coming on the show probably about every 3 to 4 months instead of waiting so long.
Education.
Right. We had him on about 6 months ago, but I really like to have him on about it at least once a quarter.
Okay.
And so he told me, well, we'll let the interview speak for itself. But anyway, guys, this is the time that you need to sign up for Cigar Rights of America if you haven't already, because, dude, they're taking away our rights. And you let them get their foot in the door, and the next thing, they're poking their head in the door, they're sticking their arm in the door, and next thing, they're all the way in.
You put them in the car, next thing you know, they want to drive.
Exactly. So anyway, guys, that's enough for my rant right now. We got Glynn Loope coming up next from Cigar Rights of America, so stick around. We'll be right back after the break. Hey guys, thanks for hanging through the break. We have special guests with us today. We had him on about 6 months ago. We're happy to have him again. We have the executive director of Cigar Rights of America, Glynn Loope, on the line. How you doing today, Glynn?
How are you? Good to be with you, and thanks for having me.
Oh, man, we appreciate you taking the time to get with us, because we know there's been a ton of stuff going on, and to be honest with you, it's almost too much to keep up with. And so we appreciate you being on the show because I know you keep up with everything.
Well, we're all in this mess together, and we've got a great team that are working on behalf of the cause, rolling back federal regulation, but all the issues that are confronting the industry across the nation, literally, and we can touch on that during this discussion. But we've got a great team and a base of wonderful cigar enthusiasts that span all 50 states, and then great people like you guys in the cigar media arena that help us spread the word.
Well, I tell you, you might not know this, but whenever we have people on the show, I side boom them. And what I mean by that is I ask them if they're a member of Cigar Rights for America without pre-discussing it with them before the show. And so if they are members, we celebrate. And if they're not, I shame them into joining.
Well, I appreciate that. And I think this is worth some, shall we call breaking news for our discussion today. But your show has become one of the leading sources of referred membership for Cigar Rights of America in the country. Even though your numbers, I don't know what kind of reach you've got. I'm sure it's wonderful. But I just want to thank you because members are very diligent about filling out what's called the referral line on their applications. So, for example, Cigar Aficionado or Cigar Dave's show or Cigar Authority, which are really the top three leading sources of online referrals for memberships. Your show has diligently really started to pop with as the source of referrals. So we really, really thank you for that.
Well, that makes me very happy to hear because just about almost every episode, I take at least 3 or 4 minutes to get on my soapbox and preach the importance of joining Cigar Rights for America. This is a lifestyle that we enjoy. It's a community that we enjoy. And you guys are protecting that right. And in fact, a couple of weeks on the show, I was praising you guys for what you do. And I said, I wish we just had a Rights of America group too. So, if you could step in, maybe you could start another group, Cigar Rights of America, and then just Rights of America, because I feel like if we don't stand up and do something, we just let the rights chip away one by one. So that's one of the reasons that I love Cigar Rights of America, because you guys are standing up for us and taking care of this great community.
Well, I appreciate that. Like I said, we're all in this together. It's a big team effort. We got a great team of staff and consultants that work for both us, the Premium Cigar Association, allied organizations across the board, and it takes a big team to pull something like this off. But to go back to your point about Rights of America, it kind of reminds me of the old motto of the Libertarian Party, and I don't say this in a partisan context at all, but I remember it in college. A motto was "Deliver the mail, defend the country," and that's all.
Right. That's all we need. I'm right there with you on that for sure. So let's kind of dive into what's been going on the political landscape. I know there's some changes taking place with the FDA, and they've actually made a few moves that kind of surprised everyone. Can you kind of go over some of those things?
Well, yeah. I'll frame this like this. If you read any of my articles or anything that when I'm doing public commentary on this, but usually when I'm writing an article, I always put it like this. This is a battle that's on both ends of Pennsylvania Avenue and a courthouse in the middle. And on the landscape of Washington, literally you got the White House at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. You got the Capitol at the other end of Pennsylvania Avenue, and the federal courthouse sits right in between the two.
Okay. And
this battle that we're involved with spans that street in that fashion. So I'll break it down like this. One, at the administration level, we have diligently since the beginning of the Trump administration reached out to officials with our message, and everything we've done in the course of the last 2.5, pushing 3 years now with them has been to get our message across that what happened in the last 6 months of the previous president's administration has to be mitigated. And I can put it like this, and I first said this at a speech I gave to the Tobacconists Association of America annual meeting back in, I believe it was March. is that, Donald Trump's been president for, at that time, 700 some days, now longer than that, and it hasn't gotten any worse. And I don't say that in a partisan context at all. It's just a statement of fact. It hasn't gotten any worse. And through the president's issuance of a series of what's called the regulatory agenda, the unified regulatory agenda, there's been no new rule, no fast-paced implementation, no punch in the gut, if you will, through the rulemaking process to make anything any worse for premium handmade cigars than what was in the final rule at the end of the Obama administration. And again, that's not a partisan statement. It's just a statement of fact.
Right. So let me ask you this, though, Glynn. You say that it hasn't gotten any worse. My question is, why has it not gotten better?
Well, that's a good point. And it's really summed up by this. And I know this is it's a difficult thing both emotionally and politically to accept, but this is the bottom line. When a rule becomes the final rule, it's a challenge for any administration to reverse a final rule.
Okay.
It's a real legal and bureaucratic process that, a lot of people thought through social media and other that, if Trump gets elected, he walks in and the pen goes across the desk and it's all taken care of. Well, it just doesn't work like that.
Right. We wanted to rub the magic lamp and to get 3 witches.
Well, that's exactly right. And it just doesn't work like that. And the opening was this. When Dr. Scott Gottlieb was appointed to the position of the FDA commissioner, we really worked diligently with advocates of ours, especially in the United States Senate, to get the message across to him that if he got that job, something needed to be done on the question of premium handmade cigars. And he got the job, and then he had a press conference about his priorities, especially and specifically in the tobacco arena, and he brought up the question of premium handmade cigars. Well, that was no accident. It was truly because of the political messaging that took place that all of us were working to facilitate the Premium Cigar Association, former IPCPR, our staff, our consultants, were really messaging that during his confirmation process. And he was true to his word. He reopened the public comment, and that became the legal opening to revisit the questions surrounding premium handmade cigars. And that public comment came out. Everything had to be submitted by July 25th of 2018. We issued 529 pages and a few more in that process. Between us, the Cigar Association of America, and the Premium Cigar Association, it was probably pushing 800 to 1,000 pages of new information that was submitted based upon demographic analysis, New England Journal of Medicine studies, American Medical Association studies, PATH studies through the Center for Disease Control, industry analysis on demographic types of issues. And here's the problem now. That became the legal opening, and that helped us in our litigation. And I can explain that, but it helped us in our litigation against the FDA that they reopened that process. And with that, the problem stands that there's been no action on that submission.
Okay.
They've got the information, and they've sat on it. They haven't commented back to us about it. And that's been a cornerstone of our messaging, especially since the spring of this year, that where are they on these issues? They've just been sitting on it, and that's been very problematic. So we've had extensive meetings with the White House Budget Office and numerous other offices within the executive branch to get that message across.
Now, let me ask you this, and maybe I missed this. When did y'all submit this report?
July 25th of 18.
Okay, so they've had a year and a half almost to get something done.
That's right. And I know this is what you were alluding to when we began this part, but now there's going to be a new FDA commissioner, and there's going to be a new confirmation process.
The new guy is from Texas.
Yes, he is.
And so just being a Texan myself, we're hoping this guy has a little common sense.
Well, we do too. He served under President Bush 1, and that was the last time he was in government. and he's an oncologist by trade. He's ran large systems within, I think it was the University of Pennsylvania system and another large university system. And so he's got from what I understand and read, a balanced background between academia and research and government service. But I'm not going to read between the lines at this juncture. We'll wait to see what happens during the confirmation process. And we don't have a clue as to when that will actually begin because, the congressional calendar, I'm sitting here, I keep a copy of the congressional calendar posted in front of my computer on my desk. And right now we're looking at Congress is in session this week and next week. Then they're out for Thanksgiving. And then they're in for the first 2 weeks of December. Well, there's no way that he's going to be vetted for the commissioner of the FDA position before they adjourn for the holidays in December. Right now, looking at probably a budget resolution that will just kick the can down the road between now and December the 13th. And then you have absolutely no clue as to how the impeachment proceedings are going to impact anything. And I don't want to bring that up. I don't want to make that as a big...
That's here nor there as far as we're concerned.
It just clouds the congressional calendar as a factor in all of this.
I got you.
It's going to be a moving target. My guess is, that question of confirming him won't be up until middle of January, early February of 2020.
Okay.
That's probably a healthy prediction. So that's going to be a moving target. And there's been a string of conferences and seminars that they've done on issues pertaining to tobacco regulation as a whole. So it's a moving target. But, I kind of refer to an article that I read a couple of months ago that I posted from the source was interesting. Let's just call it Bloomberg Government. That's the source, but that's a whole other. But anyway, the story was interesting in that it said this: under the Trump administration, doing nothing can be interpreted as de facto deregulation. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but there's a lot of truth in that. And there's been a lot of agencies that have been very, very active on the deregulation front. And Health and Human Services has not been one of them. Most of them have been in the arena of the environment, manufacturing, and environment, manufacturing, energy, financial services, and that type of arena. But very few pieces of the puzzle have been in our department, if you will, where we have to deal with things at the FDA.
Now, I did see that, you post a lot of articles that I take time to read. And
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I love seeing the articles that you post because it's an easy way for me to find information that would be otherwise difficult for me to find. But one of them that you posted was the FDA has extended the deadline. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And then also one of the states went against that and said, no, we're not going to do that. So how is that all going to play out?
If we're thinking about the same thing, we're referring to the question of substantial equivalence, and that products would have to be submitted to the FDA before they could go on to market or stay on the market.
Right.
And if we're talking about the same thing, then a Maryland federal judge, it was a federal judge, he sits in Maryland, but it was a federal judge, brought forth a decision because the FDA was sued by a healthcare coalition to say they weren't meeting their deadlines, and that's part of the reason that the whole vape e-cigarette matter blew up.
Okay.
A federal judge in Maryland, Judge Grimm, said, the healthcare groups are right, the government hasn't acted accordingly, and therefore the timeline for submission of pre-market approval or substantial equivalence applications is May of 2020, which would throw the cigar industry into an incredible bind. Even though this decision was specifically about e-cigarettes and vape products, we were all under the same rule, so the potential does in fact exist for that to be a real complicated matter for the cigar industry. And that question's probably going to be on appeal. And so I think we're talking about the same thing, and I hope that kind of clarifies the question.
Yeah, and because I read those articles because you posted them, so thank you for always posting up-to-the-date information. You're like my go-to source when I want to find out what's going on.
We have a lot of sources of information and deciphering what's appropriate and what's not, and and honestly, and we catch this a lot about why didn't I hear about this and why didn't I hear about that. But in my opinion, there's a lot of things that don't need to be discussed in the public arena. And I know that might not sound like the right thing to say, but I don't think we ought to be putting all of our cards out, on social media and the like. And, there's a lot of things where our litigation counsel are involved in some critical negotiations, and we can't play that out in public. And let's just put it this way. There's a lot of jockeying going on when you're trying to roll back a final rule. And so we post what we can, we inform what we can, but, we can't let the whole cat out of the bag.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you're going to go play poker, you're not showing your cards before it's your turn. So, and let me just say this too. I appreciate the service that you guys provide on the website where you can do a form letter to one of the senators. And I bring that up because I did that recently. And I don't know if I told you this, but I did that twice with Senator Cruz of Texas. And neither one of those emails did I get a response from his office, which I was very disappointed. And I've displayed that displeasure with my listeners. But that being said, I did one also to Senator John Cornyn, and he did respond, which I appreciated, but I did not appreciate his response. And his response was basically, I support the FDA. Thanks for sending me a message.
Yeah, I know. And both of them have been a disappointment on our issue. And it's really further disappointing because of the concentration of cigar brand owners and manufacturers that are incorporated in the state of Texas, and the huge base of cigar retailers that span that state. It's one of the largest markets in the country for premium handmade cigars. It's right there with Florida, New York, and California. You put Texas right there with them as among the largest markets in the country. There's a lot of companies that have sales representatives that are purely and solely dedicated to the state of Texas, and that makes their position all the more disheartening.
Yeah, it really does.
We've launched this petition campaign in 2011, August of 11, I believe. It was the first time we started that. Over 500,000 petitions have gone into Congress since. And I don't think Ted Cruz has ever responded to one of them. And as you noted, Senator Cornyn's office has been of a similar ilk. And that's the reason we launched a specific marketing and petition campaign, if you will, just to the two of them recently on our website. It was in our newsletter on Friday. It's been in several newsletters for the last several weeks, where we targeted very, very specific states for those types of reasons. And Senator Cornyn's all the more concerning because he's a part of the Senate leadership. And so, getting that message across to him is really, really been a challenge. I'll just leave it at that.
Well, I don't expect him to write me a letter back and say, hey, yeah, I agree with you. I'll see what I can do. But I would appreciate an email or letter back that says, hey, you're a voter in the state of Texas, and I appreciate the email, and I'll look into this. Not just, I agree with the FDA. Thanks for your message. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. No truer words are spoken.
I mean, I don't need him to jump on my bandwagon, but I would at least him to inspect it.
Well, and both of those senators are noted as being, staunch conservatives. And we're talking about a limited government issue here. We're talking about an agency that clearly went beyond congressional intent in its enforcement of the Tobacco Control Act. And that in and of itself should be of concern to those two specific U.S. senators. But I'm glad you brought up the petition campaign, because I want to make sure we discuss the Twitter campaign we've got going to the president. If you go to cigarrights.org, we have a very, very specific set of messages. We have recommended messages on our homepage to President Trump, because rumor has it he's fond of Twitter.
Yeah, I think it's
strictly a rumor, but we're going to go with it.
I like it.
So we put forth, I think 5 or 6 different recommendations for folks to use to send our message to the president that we need that agency to back off the regulation of premium handmade cigars, and that it's about jobs. It's about American jobs. It's about jobs in Pennsylvania and Florida and throughout the country. And it's about over 300,000 jobs in Latin America and the Caribbean basin that contribute to the political and economic stability within this hemisphere. And folks can pick and choose the message they would like or that they're comfortable with. Not all of them are partisan, but to send the message that this is a passion and that we should be protecting these jobs and protecting consumer choice in the marketplace without government interference. So we hope folks will go to that and send a message to @Real Donald Trump and take a look at that for some guidance. So fill out a congressional petition and fill out a President Trump Twitter feed at the exact same time.
And we appreciate you doing that, because for all the listeners out there, when they set it up like this, it literally takes less than 5 minutes to send out your message.
Well, that's right. We try to make it as easy as possible. The congressional petitions, you put in your name and your zip code, and we take care of the rest through that zip system. And it's an easy way for folks to get their message across. And especially with House members, they listen and they do get responses. Not all the time, obviously. But and we really appreciate people sharing their responses with us, taking that extra step to share their responses with us, and that's been very beneficial for us in terms of our communication to various members of the House and Senate.
Now, I do have to apologize, Glynn. A few weeks ago, I saw you guys were running if you sign up by October 31st, you could pay $25 to be a lifetime member, and I completely missed it until after the fact.
It wasn't $25 for a lifetime.
Oh, okay. Well, somebody sent that out on Facebook, and I was like, "Wow, that's
no,
a great deal."
that ain't right.
Okay, well, that just shows you.
We've had different messaging campaigns, different membership campaigns lately. We've had the Louis Tiant book, who's a great supporter from former Boston Red Sox pitcher, and you get a copy of his book. And
oh, nice.
Gordon Mott, senior editor of Cigar Aficionado, with his book promotion. And another one on downloading Hand Rolled, the movie. You make a contribution, get your membership. We give you ability to download that movie. So we've had various membership campaigns running late, and I'll give you a piece of breaking news again about a membership campaign we're rolling out after this week.
Okay.
Arturo Sandoval, 12-time Grammy winner, strong supporter of the cigar industry, very close to Carlito Fuente and the Fuente family. We're going to be doing a membership promotional with the availability of a signed CD from Arturo Sandoval.
Oh,
for
wow.
People that pray.
Very nice.
So that's going to be rolled out here very, very soon. And another promotional that's going to be coming out, a great member of ours, John Dade in Southern California, has written a book called Is Your Networking Net Working?, which is basically a book on how he used cigars and cocktails to build his financial services business.
Oh, wow. Very nice.
That book available to people that join. So we've got a lot of different options for membership. We're, learning, throwing a lot of darts into the board to see what sticks, but we think folks appreciate some of these different campaigns to make a contribution to the cause.
Well, I tell you, for me personally, I mean, I love that you do the perks for joining, but for me personally, I just love to see what you guys are doing boots on the ground in the political realm, and that makes it 100% worth it to me.
Well, that's all too kind of you, and I wish more people thought like you. Speaking of boots on the ground, tomorrow morning we'll be out of the office at 6 in the morning, but tomorrow's a unique day in that this is also breaking news. I got all kinds of breaking news for you.
I love breaking news, man.
We're going to be with the embassies of all three countries that principally produce cigars at one time. Now, we have a consistent line of communication and dialogue. We have regular meetings, but tomorrow we've got all three with Honduras, Nicaragua, and the Dominican Republic. Tomorrow, then we'll cap off the afternoon on Capitol Hill with some specific members of the House of Representatives offices. But tomorrow we're going to be working specifically on the international implications of regulation with our brethren from the Dominican Embassy, the Nicaraguan Embassy, and the Honduran Embassy, all between the hours of 11 and 3 tomorrow.
Very nice. And
we'll be updating folks on social media about those discussions and what they're doing to help us out to get our message across to the administration, and talking about things like national security implications, immigration implications, hemispheric security issues, all as it relates to premium handmade cigars. So this is an issue that's much more serious than people give it credit. And I'm quoting former Congressman Lou Barletta, who's a great advocate for the industry when he was a member of the House of Representatives. But Congressman Barletta, we're quoting him when we say it is now a time to discuss cigar regulation in the context of national security. It is an immigration issue. It is a border security issue. And it's a hemispheric question, economic stability question, when you've got that many tens of thousands of people employed and dependent upon the employment in the premium cigar industry within this hemisphere. There's almost a dozen factories now in Costa Rica. The leaf that comes out of Ecuador and Brazil and Mexico, all of that contributes to a supply chain that spans a lot of critical parts of this hemisphere that are noted for having issues with political and economic stability.
Yeah, that's something that you don't really think about. And so I appreciate you bringing that up, because you're talking about tens of thousands of jobs, and where would those people be without those jobs?
Absolutely. And it contributes to healthcare, daycare, those types of clinics and schools that are all made possible because of the contributions of the premium cigar industry in the communities that they serve. I just saw a thing where the Padron Foundation is working on fundraising for their school projects in Nicaragua. You've got the work of the Cigar Family Charitable Foundation under the Fuente Newman families. In the Dominican Republic, you have Rocky Patel's foundation working with Honduras and Nicaragua. You've got the social and community contributions of dozens upon dozens of manufacturers in those three countries.
Yeah,
and,
so we've had people on the show and talk about tours at different tobacco factories and talk about how many hands are touching those cigars before they make it to market. And if you dive deeper, like what you're talking about, you really show what the tobacco industry does for those communities in those different countries.
Brought that up because I spoke at I guess it was the second one, but I spoke at one of the Nicaragua cigar festivals, and I told the group that we were with, I said, you will never smoke a cigar the same way once you've looked into the eyes of the people that made it possible.
Yeah, that's amazing.
We were obviously in court about a week and a half ago, arguing our litigation counsel was arguing the case on the warning labels that are disproportionate and not justified for premium handmade cigar boxes.
And Canada's already gone that way, haven't they?
Canada's gone to the extreme, like Australia, with plain packaging. And fortunately, this country's got a First Amendment that helps defend against such matters. But you can't take anything for granted. And what the agency has proposed for the cigarette industry is really a mirror into what they want to do for us against us. And so our counsel was in front of a 3-judge panel in the D.C. Court of Appeals. That decision won't come out until after the first of the year.
Okay.
So hurry up and wait time on that question.
And like what they do in Canada is it's just a plain box. So, I mean, it doesn't matter what cigar company you're getting cigars from. They all look the same, basically.
It's insane. It's a gross infringement on speech. It's a quintessential nanny state measure, and there's no other way to put it. We provided our friends in Canada with mountains of data trying to help them combat that, because we already had all this research at our disposal, really revolving around the health implications of premium handmade cigars. And the moral of the story is there aren't any. We submitted the details on inhalation, on addiction, on mortality, and the data is all there. Breaks our way. And on the bigger two fundamental question, on youth access that everybody in the nanny state loves to pound on, is not an issue with premium handmade cigars.
Right, I agree 100%.
But between public health impact, of which we documented there isn't any, coupled with, so inhalation, addiction, and mortality are the big three, and youth access being the other piece of the puzzle, the research clearly breaks our way from very objective sources. So we shared all that information with our friends in Canada. We've shared it with our friends in Europe that confront these questions, like Canada has, and we may someday. And it kind of parlays directly into our efforts against federal regulation here, demonstrating this is all one big community, confronting a global assault on premium handmade cigars simply because of the global assault on tobacco more generally by entities like the World Health Organization. And that sounds very macro in scope, but that's exactly what it is. A lot of these measures on the international level are facilitated to combat proposals put forth by the World Health Organization. And that's the predicament we're in. So it behooves us to share this type of research around the planet to help mitigate the harm that's out there. But Canada didn't listen, and it's horrible what they're doing and what they have done up there on both the regulatory front and the tax front to Canadian cigar enthusiasts.
And, and you don't know this, but I'm actually half Canadian, so it really upsets me what they've done up there. And it's not just cigars; they're just gone crazy across the board. I don't know what's wrong with them, but yeah. But that being said, like on the box is now plain Jane. Is that also go for like the bands on the cigars?
It's my understanding it is, and I think there's some type of a sunset. Not a sunset, but that might be the right term for it, where they've got a limited period of time before even the bans have to go away. I'm not sure of all the particulars on that, but it's somewhere along those lines that there's a grace period, if you will, that even that has to go. And how you sell a cigar or differentiate between brands and cigars from various countries and get the message across as to what differentiates one cigar from another is totally beyond me.
Yeah, it's crazy. And what really, it would just be devastating to me is to take away the history of the cigars. And to me, that's what that does.
You're absolutely right. And Australia is the place that set the global precedent on that question, and now it's being clearly entertained in parts of Europe as well.
Yeah, that's a real sad issue for me. I enjoy seeing the beautiful history that goes into the artwork, the craftsmanship on the boxes, and the boxes and the bands don't inspire me to buy that particular cigar. I buy the cigar based on the actual product itself. But that being said, if I went to a museum to look at art and it was just all plain, what's the difference?
That's right. That's right.
It's to me, it's art, and I don't see how they can violate the First Amendment of freedom of speech by doing that in the first place. I just don't understand.
I'm just telling you that's the part of the strategy of the FDA under its current regime is to bring that type of nanny state messaging to the cigar industry.
I just want to say that we appreciate so much. And to be a member of Cigar Rights for America for $25, that's 2 cigars, 3 cigars, and you guys are doing the boots on the ground hard work for us every day. And so if you guys listening aren't members of Cigar Rights for America, me and Bryant have both said it before, we don't want to hear any complaining about what's going on in the industry if you're not willing to step up and take part and be a part of the community and fight what's going on against our rights. So we just want to say thank you for all that you do, Glynn. We look forward to getting an update from you probably in about 5 or 6 months after we have the new FDA commissioner. And we just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to join us and update all the listeners of what's been going on.
Well, thank you guys. And let's not wait too long to do it. Maybe sometime right after the holidays, there'll be an update on the litigation front. We'll have a new session of Congress of this 116th session, the second half, going in right after New Year's. It's all going to be here before you know it. We're going to have the 2020 campaign cycle kicking in as a factor in all of this. So there's going to be a lot of moving parts. So let's catch up right after the holidays with a new update.
Hey, that sounds great, man. We'd love to have you on the show and have updates coming straight from the source, man. We really appreciate it. And I just got to say, I appreciate all the information that you post all the time. It's really a helpful tool to be able to source that information without having to go out and Google it and try to find it myself. So thank you for that as well.
Thank you. And stay on Senator Cornyn down there. Don't give up.
Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. We've put his name out there, and if you're in Texas, we expect you to be blowing up his email.
Excellent. Well, we'll be in touch soon, and thank you again.
Hey, thank you. It's always a pleasure, Glynn. Have a great week.
Talk soon. You too.
All right. Bye-bye. right, guys, welcome back to Cigar Talk. I hope you enjoyed the interview. We love having Glynn Loope on the show. I mean, I just feel honored that he's willing to come on the show. You know what I mean? Because that dude is in the know.
Yes, sir.
And like we said on the interview, we're going to be having him back on the show probably in January.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff happening between now and January, so we're definitely going to want to keep up with what's going on. Let's get to this week's giveaway. I've got another Visol Jet Torch lighter.
Okay.
Super nice lighter. Yeah. Doug Worthington won last week. This week we're going to do Tyson Weber.
Tyson Weber.
So we'll put that in here. So congratulations.
Yes, sir. Great lighter you won, and thank you for your support again.
Yeah, and for anyone who wants to have a shot at winning our giveaways, if you go to our website, this is how simple it is. You click on register, and then you scroll down the page, and where it says register, you register with your name and email. We don't ask you for any other information. And I was asking Doug, who won last week, because we were talking about, you know, it surprises me of how many listeners we have and then how many people are registered, because probably only about a quarter of the people are registered, which means it's really great odds of winning.
Yes. The thing that blows my mind, though, is why not register?
Well, and what we were talking about, though, and Doug said, a lot of people don't want to give away their email address because a lot of companies send out spam.
We don't.
I said, and I asked him, how many emails have you gotten from us? And he was like, none.
The only one you got was you won.
So anyway, if you're not registered, go by and register. It doesn't cost you anything. We don't send out a bunch of junk mail. I think since we've been doing the show, we've actually sent out like 4 emails to the whole group. And it was either to announce a special episode or make an announcement of some sort.
And that's it.
So we're not going to be blowing up your inbox. Trust me, I don't like that. I'm not doing that.
I hate that, man. Going through that, getting rid of all those emails, junk.
Absolutely.
Junk.
Hey, so anyway, let's move on.
Yes, sir.
This is going to just be a fun fact. And I saw this by accident. Yes. And anyway, for a limited time only, Pearl Beer is doing a 99 pack of beer.
That's amazing to me.
And it's so cool looking. Have you seen the picture?
Yes.
It's a regular beer carton. And
7 feet tall.
Yeah, except it's not regular. Well, it's only 3 cans tall.
3 by 33.
Right. But it's 7 feet long, and it holds 99 beers. It weighs 82 pounds.
Yes, sir.
And the kicker, tell them how much it cost.
You get 99 beers. Guess how much it costs? $99.
Isn't that crazy? Dude, 90.
That's $1 a beer, man.
I'm like, where can I pick that up? Because that would be enough beer to last me for a year.
No.
I don't drink beer very often. But also, I don't know if I like Pearl. I don't know that I've ever had a Pearl. I know that the Pearl beer I remember is like from the 70s.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And so I don't know if I would like it because golly, man, I sound like a snob on everything. Cigars, coffee, bourbon, beer. But I'm really a Shiner Bock guy.
I understand.
Plain, simple.
Yes, I understand.
I don't have to have like the exotic beers, the craft breweries.
Yeah.
But the Shiner beer, it's a nice dark beer. And when I drink beer, I usually only drink 2. Mm-hmm. Because I drink a darker, fuller beer, and after 2, man, I'm full.
I understand,
and so that's why I prefer drinking bourbon.
So you can, but see, I'm from that area of the United States that is 100% what Budweiser,
Anheuser-Busch.
Yes. So,
and you know, I never really drank Anheuser-Busch. I think maybe a couple of times whenever I was in high school, we
Michelob, baby.
Well, we had Budweiser because Daniel the bootlegger.
Okay,
that's what he carried was Budweiser,
and his name was Daniel the bootlegger.
Daniel the bootlegger.
Oh,
yeah, he drove a badass Corvette,
so he couldn't get caught.
He lived in the hood, and we would go by there. Now, that's not all he sold, but that's what we bought from him.
That's what you bought from him.
And I'll tell you the truth. I never went in. I was scared because, I mean, you're talking like white boy from the white part of town going over to the ghetto, and somebody had to go up, knock on the door. Not only, he didn't just hand you the beer at the door. You went in. And my buddy who went in said Daniel had a sawed-off shotgun right next to his chair. So I never wanted to go in.
Yeah, I don't want to find
I'm
out.
like,
That
if I hear shots, I'm out of here.
that brings up a funny story because my freshman year, I went to college in Tennessee. And this was the first time I'd ever seen moonshine. And it was in a clear glass bottle, and it was clear. I'm like, what is that? They said, oh, man, we got some shine. I was like, what? Moonshine. I'm like, for real? I'm like, it looked like water. But when they took that cork out,
Ooh.
I was like, oh, God.
Yeah, that's some stiff stuff.
Dude, we poured it in the tank of one of my friend's cars, man. And he drove off that
Dude,
stuff,
and
man.
I'm sure it was higher octane than what it
He
was used to.
drove off
Yeah.
that. That blew my mind, man. I was like, he's driving, and you drink that?
Right.
No.
Well, I'll tell you,
no.
one night, whenever I was in high school, we went to a party, and when I grew up in Lubbock, and a big thing for Texas Tech students to do was to throw parties for high school kids and charge them admission, and then they would make their money to go out and party during the weekend.
Oh my goodness.
So they would charge us $5 a piece.
Oh,
And
my
you know what they
goodness.
had for us?
What?
They had a giant trash can, and they would pour like 2 or 3 gallons of Everclear
Yes.
and then put punch in it.
Yeah, we called that Omega Punch. When I went to college, they'd have a foot tub full of Everclear with grape Kool-Aid because Omega Sci-Fi's colors were purple. So you could get you some Omega Punch. Man, I'm not touching that stuff.
Well, let me tell you.
You can smell it.
You might not know this about me, but I was extreme at everything I did.
Dude, you still extreme. What you talking about was.
So when me and a buddy got to this college party early, and so they actually had already made the trash can punch, and there was a bottle still on the counter that had Everclear.
You hit the Everclear?
And I was like, hey man, you care if we have a couple of shots of that? And they were just kind of laughed and was like, yeah, knock yourself out, kid. And so we did like 2 shots a piece of that Everclear, and dude, so then we were chasing it with Everclear punch.
No.
Let me just tell you this.
Okay.
I was so sick, and I'll never forget, I laid on the couch the next day for 12 hours, and you know what I did? I watched the first ever Farm Aid. I don't even know if they still do Farm Aid, but you remember how they used to always do those? Like Live Aid, Farm Aid. Dude, and I was hurting. I'm pretty sure I had alcohol poisoning, and I didn't know it.
Well, you sitting there mesmerized to Willie Nelson, thinking like,
hey, Willie was there.
Thinking like, okay, I know he's worse than I am.
Yeah, but man, I tell you what, that was the worst mistake I ever made. It was
that was
bad.
a mistake. That was a mistake, yes.
Yeah, and I'm not even going to give you any more details because the story only gets worse.
I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah, you're good. So anyway, let's talk about the ambassador program right quick for McAuliffe. I'm number 298.
165.
I got a little surprise for you.
What, you talked to Mike, 164?
Oh, you did?
Man, we had a bet Monday night because he's a Seahawks fan.
Oh, he sent me a message today that said Seahawks.
Yeah, and oh man, he was rubbing it in, and I was saying some things. But Mikey won. I got your McAuliffe coming to you. Just send me your address. Man.
Oh, nice.
I lost.
So yeah, I was chatting him up a few weeks ago, and he was like, "Yeah, I got my McAuliffe coin. I'm 164," and I was like, "What'd you say?"
Yeah, he rubs it in.
I was like, "Nice." I met someone that I know quite well that has a lower number than you. In fact, I told him after that, I was like, I'm going to have you back on the show.
Hater.
Hey, I'm just happy to see it. I'm happy to see it because all the hating I get on a regular basis. So anyway, hey guys, next week we have a special guest named Sid, and I called him the expert mixologist, and he corrected me and said, no, I'm a bartender. So I don't know the difference, but I thought it was more prestigious to be the expert mixologist.
Said, no, I'm just a
and
bartender.
he said, no, I'm a bartender.
That's that blue collar,
like,
baby.
okay, that's cool. And he's from New Jersey, I believe.
Blue collar, yep.
So, you know, he has that street cred,
Yep.
I guess. But anyway, super nice guy and very, very educated in the world of spirits and cocktails and mixed drinks.
Yes, sir.
I did talk to him about some special cigars, and I talked to him also. We are going to do for the Patreons in December. We're going to have a live video that we'll upload. They can watch it anytime, but we're going to do it live, and then they can watch and see how to make a particular drink that he's planning on bringing to the table.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
man. That's real cool.
You know, we want to say thank you to those guys who support us so much.
Most definitely. I want to send a shout out too.
Well, why don't you turn the mic so it's facing you?
I want to send a shout out too. We got a listener to Cigar Talk, and he's also one of both our friends on Instagram. He hit me up. He was talking about how he tried a cigar just because of us.
There you go.
And I loved him for reaching out to me like that. His name is Adam Brown. And he said he was smoking a last call because he heard us talk about it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so shout out to Adam Brown, man. Thank you for supporting us and being a part of our, everything we try to do. So it's all about the people. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out also while we're doing that to it's Benjamin JC33. He's a relatively new listener, but we were talking today, he lives in Alaska.
Whoa.
And he's 19.
Whoa.
So he lost his right to smoke cigars. Right, because they didn't do the grandfather thing up there.
You got to be kidding.
Yeah, but anyway, I was saying, to him, man, that's one place I would love to go up and enjoy a good stick with the beautiful, just majestic scenery up there.
That's solitude,
and he told me about a place that he went and smoked, and I was like, man, there's a handful of places that I'd love to smoke a cigar, and Alaska's one of them.
Yeah, alone.
Hey, so let me ask you this. Who is this guy on Instagram that I see all the time? I post alone.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Who is that?
I don't know, but I love it, man.
I love it too, but I see the stickers everywhere. In fact, I even seen him on TikTok.
Oh.
And
because you running that TikTok.
Hey,
now.
man, you know what? I have only done 5 videos. They're all Cigar Talk related. If you're on TikTok and you want to follow us, it's just Cigar Talk.
Okay.
So if you want to find us on there, we're just Cigar Talk. And usually I just do announcements, like I did a couple announcements of Dirty Fabian on the show.
Okay.
And so, you know what? It's a definitely a different social media than I'm used to. It's, and the funny thing is, it's like a younger crowd.
And that's what it's made for.
No.
What is it?
The old people are taking over. I'm not kidding.
I can see that, though.
Dude,
I really can.
Well, you know what? I've seen lots of videos that are complaining about adult or people over 30 getting on there. And there's people all the way up to like 80 on there now. And someone was like, yeah, the old people ruin everything.
No, they don't.
And
man.
It's like, yeah, you know why? Because we made all this happen.
Yeah, tell the truth. Add that spice to it.
So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the show this week. We had a great time, and I hope you join us next week for Sid, the mixologist / bartender. And anyway, man, till next week.
Keep smoking.